What is up, my friends? It is Thursday night's late night news roundup, and as always, you are very welcome along. Over the course of the next 10 minutes or so, I'm going to try to tell you why Liverpool are going £140 million big for Alexander Isak. At least that's from a report tonight. We're going to discuss Will Wright and him becoming a Liverpool player. We'll talk about Liverpool's sponsorship negotiations, which will get underway soon, as well as another option for Newcastle, or shall I say, an option revisited for Newcastle around a potential replacement for Isak. So that and lots more to come, but I want to know your thoughts. So once you've watched the video, do let me know in the comments section. Drop a like on this video if you enjoy it, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button on here, but also check out the Anfield Agenda Clips channel. Thank you for your support on that. Right, let's get cracking. So, Liverpool to start sponsorship negotiations shortly. The Athletic and Liverpool's chief commercial officer who was speaking to them, Beth Laddie, has confirmed negotiations with Expedia and Standard Chartered about extending the Red sponsorship deals will begin shortly. Beth said we'll be starting that process both in terms of having discussions with the incumbent, and naturally you'd expect us to go and talk to the market as well. At this time, I don't believe there's any bigger football club than Liverpool Football Club. So that's always good to hear. And you would imagine Liverpool could command hefty sponsorship deals at this point. So let's wish them the very best in the negotiations. Late last night at about 10 past 2, 20 past 2 a.m, Fabrizio Romano posted to say, deal completed for Will Wright to join Liverpool from Salford City. Documents have been signed in the past 12 hours. The 17-year-old talent also signed his contract for the next 3 years, keeping him at Liverpool till 2028. He finished up by saying Liverpool beat Arsenal to the signing and a deal was verbally agreed club to club. Now, Newcastle and their search for a striker. They still haven't given up on Sesko, albeit he looks like he has given his preference to Manchester United. From what Sky Sports was saying earlier on, it looks as if the gentleman who brought him to Red Bull Salzburg when he was 16 is leading this negotiation for Manchester United, so some familiarity there. But tonight, Ben Jacobs has said Newcastle are preparing a third bid for Johan Visa. Visa is pushing to leave, but Brentford's valuation remains in excess of £40 million. Now, Visa believes that he was told that he could leave to go to a Champions League club, and he feels that Newcastle are trying to give him that opportunity to play Champions League football, and Brentford are denying him that. From Brentford's side, of course, you can understand that they've already lost players this summer and don't want to be completely stripped of all their talent ahead of having a new coach in Keith Andrews come in. So let's wait and see how this one works out. But I look forward to Newcastle fans in the comments and their disgust of Visa for this, because of course, you know, you couldn't be a hypocrite and talk about Isak doing it being, as in your own words, a pure rat, and I'll get onto that in a minute, and then not be equally as annoyed by Visa, right? Or can we finally all be adults and admit we're hypocrites? When it benefits our club, we're all for it. When it doesn't benefit our club, we're all against it. I know I'm a hypocrite. Are you? Next up, let's move on to a post here from the Newcastle training ground, and the fences are looking a little bit different today, shall we say, where you've got a nice banner there that says, Isak is a pure rat. That's going to get him to stay, isn't it? That's going to do it, lads. Well done. You're only pushing them further and further into the waiting arms of Liverpool Football Club. So tonight's exclusive from Dave O.C. Cop is as follows. Liverpool are ready to pay Newcastle up to £60 million up front right now for Isak. A further £60 million would follow next year. The add-ons could bring the total fee up to about £140 million, with £120 million guaranteed, move getting closer. So this has already started to have some reaction from Liverpool fans and fan accounts. And before I move on to give you mine, Anfield Sector have said £60 million up front would mean Newcastle could probably spend another £200 million in this transfer window. Given how transfers are usually structured over 3 or more years, surely they accept. Now look, you know my take on why Newcastle should accept. I've been speaking about this for ages. I totally sympathise and understand they don't want to lose their star boy, but it will give them the ability to go out there and properly attack this transfer market, and it will also remove a dark cloud that is hanging over the head right now. And as you can see from the banner that was outside Newcastle's training ground, It's not going well right now. Newcastle are away on their pre-season tour. Isak is over at Real Sociedad and their training ground, working through with his own fitness people. And it's just not a great situation. So my take on it is, if what Dave has said is right, and I think 120 plus 10, but 120 plus 20, if that's what it is, that's what it is. I think they should take it. And I think they'd be foolish not to take it because, like Anfield Sector and many others have pointed out, it would give Newcastle the ability to go out there and spend big in this window. And also, one thing Fabrizio Romano said yesterday, I keep coming back to, and that is that players look at these situations, and if you're trying to attract somebody to Newcastle, will they really come in if they believe that their pathway is going to be blocked from leaving? Will they really do that? It's not a good look. And I get it, it's a double-sided coin, because the clubs are good to these players and give them the opportunities as well. But you got to understand where you are as a club in these moments. And Newcastle right now are not the finished product. They want to get there, they may get there, but they're not doing it the right way, in my opinion. Moby Hake has had something that he thinks is very interesting from Craig Hope, and I very much agree. We talked about it on tonight's stream. Craig Hope said this: well, players talk, and word has spread in the game, so not just in Newcastle, within the game, that the project some of the lads thought that they were signing up to, Isak included, isn't what it seemed on arrival. And this is why we come back to broken promises and things not being what they were supposed to be. I can't tell you if Isak was promised contracts from Amanda Staveley and then from Paul Mitchell, but I can say that he feels he was, and I can say that he feels like those promises haven't been fulfilled. He also feels annoyed that Liverpool made an approach before signing Ugo Ekitike that Newcastle could have sold Isak and maybe tried to get Ekitike to join them. He didn't. He signed for us, and we're still here looking for Isak. So at some point, realisation has to be that yes, Newcastle can force Isak to stay. But do you really think he's going to give it all out there on the pitch next season? Yes, we'll get all the right lines about professionals and this, that and the other, but I'm thinking more of a work to rule, where if he feels any little niggle or even the slightest bit of pain, why would he put himself through the pain barrier when he doesn't want to be there? And equally, will Newcastle want this going around the club? Players talk, and if they see Isak being denied to move away, they're probably going to worry about their own futures. These are all things that sometimes don't get spoken about. But you got to be realistic in these situations. So Newcastle, as my advice has always been, for what it's worth, take the money, move on and finish the project, because they've got good owners. Well, they've got owners with money and ambition. They've got a good manager and they want to move the club on. They can't do it at this moment in time because of the constraints of PSR and other things. So sell Isak, use the money to rebuild, use it wisely like we did with Coutinho. And then, who knows where Newcastle could be in 2, 3, 4 years. But right now, it's not looking like that project's going in the direction that Isak, Newcastle fans or anybody would want. And keeping a player that doesn't want to be there isn't great. One last thing for some add-ons on this. If Newcastle do sell Isak, there was a piece on Sky Sports tonight that said, if Isak were to leave Newcastle, his former club would receive 10% of every euro above the 70 million euro that they paid. On top of that, Real Sociedad would also get 2% through FIFA's Solidarity Programme and 0.5% for every season he was with the club. So these are things, of course, that we can keep in mind as well for future transfer dealings with our own club or anybody else. These are bits of information that I always love to hear as well. I really didn't know about that 2% solidarity or the 0.5% for every year at the club. So, folks, that is pretty much it for tonight. But for me, I think we are inching closer to Liverpool getting Isak. The centre-back situation is still one where we're all shrugging our shoulders. Mark Gay is there. We think Liverpool are an attractive proposition for him. But as of right now, Liverpool, the line is, don't want to get drawn into a saga. I think they should just go and bring in Mark Gay, regardless of anything else, because he's a good player, he's homegrown, and he will give us some versatility and the ability to rotate between centre-backs this season as and when needed. That's it for me. I'll see you tomorrow. Video at 4:30. Stream, of course, tomorrow night, 8:45. And then we'll have the late night news roundup. Sunday will be my day off this week. So you can probably expect that that's when news is going to break. And then, of course, we've got that double header on Monday. We'll be starting from 4 p.m, taking you right through till 10 o'clock. No break, 6-hour stream to cover the 2 games. We hope you can join us for it. But if you can't, have a lovely weekend and we'll talk to you soon. Much love. Bye-bye.